Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Let us start with the Guru Shlokas. You want to do them?
अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुसाक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्तजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजं। वक्रतुण्डमहाकाय सूर्यकोटिसमप्रभ निर्विघ्नं कुरु मे देव शुभकार्येषु सर्वदा। या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रवस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डितकरा या श्वेतपद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करप्रभृतिभिः देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषजाड्यापहा। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा।
So let us start with the Dhyana, the Sankalpa and the Dhyana Shloka. Asya Shri Lalita Sahasranama
स्तोत्रमाला महामन्त्रस्य वशिन्यादि वाग्देवता ऋषयः अनुष्टुप् छन्दः श्रीललिता महात्रिपुरसुन्दरी देवता ऐं बीजं सौः शक्तिः क्लीं कीलकं श्रीललिता महात्रिपुरसुन्दरी प्रसादसिद्ध्यर्थे जपे विनियोगः। ध्यानं सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां त्रिनयनां माणिक्यमौलिस्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीम् आपीनवक्षोरुहां पाणिभ्याम् अलिपूर्णरत्नचषकं रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीं सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् पराम् अम्बिकाम्।
So, when we are doing the Dhyana Shlokas, typically in most of the Sahasranamas, you will find that you can go on mute, everybody, please. Lalita ji, Priya ji. So what happens is that typically there is only one Dhyana Shloka. Vishnu Sahasranamam as well as Lalita Sahasranamam has a series of shlokas which are describing the Lord or Devi in various forms. So in the Dhyana Shloka here, we have 4 specific shlokas. In the Brahmanda Puranam, where we find the Lalita Sahasranamam, the order which we are going to learn is what is followed. However, in the Sri Vidya methodology, somewhere they have made a small change in the order in which the shlokas are being recited. So that is possibly more out of a parampara than anything else. So we don't have to worry about it, just that they change the order. So when we are reciting in a group, we should be careful that we follow the methodology of that particular group. Rest of it will follow automatically. Another thing is, when we do this dhyana shlokas, we have to remember that these dhyanas are coming to us predominantly as a tool for us to connect. Is this a real form? This, see, when Purusha Suktam. So the beauty of Purusha Suktam itself is a wonderful, so Suktam, the word Suktam is a series of mantras put together in the Vedas, where they form a particular, they are all connected with a particular theme. So Purusha Suktam describes the Paramapurusha. Now, that which is not describable, the attempt is to try and describe it. Now, when we are trying to describe it, the first line says, Sahasra Shirsha Purushaha. Sahasra. So it says he has 1,000 heads. Now, try and imagine a being with 1,000 heads. Firstly, that is not imaginable. Secondly, the next line qualifies that. Sahasraksha. Sahasraksha means 1,000 eyes. Now, if a person has 1,000 heads, how many eyes is he supposed to have? Obviously, he is supposed to have 2,000 eyes. Now you are saying he has 1,000 eyes, which means do you think that he has 1,000 heads with one eye each? Right? Sahasraksha, Sahasrapat. So he has 1,000 legs. Now, with one head, we are supposed to have 2 legs. So he should have 2,000 legs. So the word Sahasra here is a replacement of the word infinite. The concept of infinite is not intellectually comprehensible by the human mind. If I ask you, for example, imagine the distance from here to New York. Now, it is not possible. You will not be able to imagine it. So you have to relate to it in terms of saying, okay, so when I went to New York, I got up in a plane, and in that plane that I traveled for 14 hours. That is how you relate to that distance from here to New York. Now I'm going to ask you, imagine the distance from here to the moon. Now we have completely got lost. Now we take it to Pluto. Imagine the distance. I'll give you a number. Imagine the size of the number, which is 9 to the power 9 to the power 9. Now you cannot imagine these things. Our brain is so limited. Our imagination is so limited. Our intellectual capacity is so limited that the whole concept of infinite is an abstract concept. Since it is so abstract, we cannot relate to it. Since we cannot relate to it, our rishis, they understood our psychology very well. They created a limited boundary for what is the infinite. So creating that limited boundary, there is a description that is being put over there. Shantakaram Bhujagashayanam Padmanabham Suresham. So Bhujagashayanam, he is sleeping on the world. Bhujaga Shayanam, he is sleeping on the world. In which form? And that Bhujaga is in the form of a snake. Padmanabham, so he has got the lotus coming out from his navel. So these are descriptions that were given so as to for us to bring that unlimited concept into some sort of limitation. Using that, so we have always to remember that whatever we are describing here is a limited manifestation of that which is completely indescribable by our human intellect. So when we say Tara Nayaka Shekharam Smitamukhim Apina Vakshoruham, we have an image in front of us of a lady who is sitting with a crown or with hair in which the moon is hanging. She is smiling beautifully. She has heavy breasts. So when you get that imagination and you relate to that imagination, then you start thinking about it. You can keep it in your mind. You can hold on to that as a concept, which is why the dhyana shlokas are done in this manner. So let us start with the next dhyana shloka. Again, like as usual, I will break it up into small bits. You can, while on mute itself, you can recite, and then we will practice the recitation one by one. Then we will get into the meaning. Arunam Karunatarangitakshim. Arunam Karunatarangitakshim. Arunam Karunatarangitakshim. Dhrita Pushpa Bana Chapam. Dhrita Chapam. Dhrita Chapam. Bhana. Please be careful. A lot of the homework that I got, the na and the ana, there are mistakes. You have also to be a little careful, especially people from South India. You have to be careful with the mix-up of the aspirated sound and the non-aspirated sound. For example, bibhratim is bibha, and typically in Tamil, these two are not separated. So there is a chance of these two getting mixed up. So, and then Tara Nayaka Shekharam, not Shekharam, Ka, right? So those aspirated sounds, you have to be a little careful, especially for people in the South. And Sha and Sha are different. So Sha, the word Sha, let me give a name for that. Let us see. Tiger. Tiger is, because we are talking about Devi, let us talk about tigers. So the Sha comes as Shardul. Shardul, the word Shardul means tiger. The word lion is Simha. Simha, right? And the word Sha, Sha, the way we are pronouncing is Rishi. So the tongue goes a little backward. The tongue goes a little backward and we say Rishi. So it is therefore that Sha has a name for it. It is called Murdhenya. Murdhenya Sha. Murdhenya is the top, the palate, the upper part of the palate. So Murdhenya. The Sa, Simha, the tongue touches the teeth. So it is called Dantaswa. And Sha is where the tongue touches the Talu. So it is the Talaveshya. So it is, these are typical, very grammatical names for this, right? So Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. Dhrita Pashankusha. So you see the Sha here? Pashankusha Pushpa. Now the Sha changes. Pushpa Bana Chapam. So first line, full line. Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. Dhrita Pashankusha Pushpa Bana Chapam. Animadibhiravritam Mayukhehi. Animadibhiravritam Mayukhehi. Animadibhiravritam Mayukhehi. Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim. Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim. Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim. Animadibhiravritam Mayukhehi. Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim. Let us do the full shloka. Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. Dhrita Pashankusha Pushpa Bana Chapam. Animadibhiravritam Mayukhehi. Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim. So, Priyaji, you want to try?
Looks like only we are both of us in this.
That's okay.
Yeah. Arunam Karuna Tarang. Arunam Aruna Karuna Tarangitakshim.
Arunam
Karuna Tarangitakshim. Drutapasham Kushapushpabhana Chapam. Animadhibhiravrutam Mayukaihi. Animadhibhiravrutam Mayukaihi. Ahamityeva Vaye Bhavani.
Vibhavaye.
Vibhavaye Bhavanim.
Not Bhavani. Bhavanim.
Bhavanim.
Yeah.
Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim.
Good.
Bhavanim.
Good. Arunam. Let us do.
Karuna Tarangitakshim.
Arunam Karuna.
Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. Drutapasham Kushapushpabana Chapam. Animadhibhiravrutam Mayukaihi. Ahamityeva Vibhava. What is it?
Vibhavaye.
Vibhavaye Bhavanim. Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim.
Good.
Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavanim.
Good. Now let us look at the word meanings. It's a very beautiful shloka. Arunam. Now we have already seen the word Arunam in the first shloka. Sindhurarunam, right? Sindhuraruna Vigraham. Now here again, the Rishi is repeating. The Hayagreeva Rishi, Hayagreeva in the form of Rishi, is repeating Arunam. Now here, contextually, we have to understand Sanskrit is a very contextual language. Any language is a contextual language. For example, if I say, give me peace, then you know very clearly I am talking P-E-A-C-E. But if I say, give me a piece, then it becomes P-I-E-C-E. The pronunciation is the same. I used the word earlier of the example of Ajaha. I don't know if you remember, but Ajaha, the word Ajaha means goat. Ajaha means also Brahma. So if I say the world was created by Ajaha, it cannot have been created by a goat. So from that context, we have to understand that here when the poet is using the word Arunam, he is describing the rising sun. In the earlier one, it was the color of the rising sun. Here it is the rising sun. Now, why is she called the rising sun? She is not the rising sun. She is the dawn of knowledge. It is the dawn of knowledge that she represents. So when that knowledge dawns in us, it is like the dispelling of all darkness. Just that small sliver of the sun at the border of the horizon, and there is no more darkness there. Just like that faint pinkness as it comes, the darkness cannot exist in the same place. Therefore, here, when she is saying Arunam, while yes, it is also describing the color Aruna, but it is also meaning that the dawn of her knowledge, the knowledge of herself is coming to us. How does it come to us? Karuna Tarangitakshim. Now, Aksha, the word Aksha means eyes. Sahasraksha, Sahasrapata, used in the Purusha Suktam, right? I said Sahasraksha. Rudraksha, Aksha means eyes. Karuna Tarangitakshim. So her eyes are being described. What are her eyes giving? Taranga means waves. So waves are coming from her eyes. Waves of what? Waves of Karuna. Karuna is pouring from her eyes. In what form? In waves. It is coming continuously. It is not stopping. It is not just a few droplets. Karuna Tarangitakshim. Now that Karuna, when we take a bath in that Karuna Taranga, Aruna will come to us. When we take a dip in that Karuna Taranga, now what are we saying here? The poet is saying very clearly that from her grace is flowing incessantly. She who is all powerful, she doesn't need to close her eyes. She doesn't need to go to sleep. She doesn't need to wake up. So her eyes are always open. And when her eyes are always open, Karuna Tarangitakshim, Karuna, her eyes are Karuna Taranga, they are flowing from her eyes. If you take a dip in that, your knowledge will dawn. So, Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim. Now, he goes on to describe her. Now, in the earlier shloka, we saw her with two hands, right? Panibhyam Alipurna Ratna Chashakam Raktotpalam Vibhratim. In one hand, she has that pot full of liquor, and the other hand, she has a lotus, right? And now he is going to say that she has four hands. Dhrita holding, Pasha Pasha means noose, lasso, lasso which is used to tie. So Pasha in the Vedas, Pasha used to be a weapon used by Varuna. Varuna Devata all carries a Pasha. So even now, when we do Varuna Puja, we say Pasha Hastaya Namaha, right? So Paschima Dikpalakaya Namaha, Shweta Chatraya Namaha. So when Varuna is worshipped, we use the word Pasha Hastaya Namaha. Pasha Hasta, Pasha means he who is carrying a noose, something to tie. It is like a rope in the form of a loop. Pasha. Ankusha. Ankusha is a very specific weapon that you will find only in India. Why? Because only in India elephants got tamed. So this is a specific weapon which has a sort of a hook. It has a sort of a hook, and it is used to guide the elephant. What the Mahout does is there is a particular fold of skin at the back of the elephant, and he holds that and he uses to pull it and guide the elephant's head. So she is holding a Pasha and she is holding a Ankusha. Then she is holding Pushpabana and Chapa. Pushpabana. Now, Pushpabana means arrows. Pushpabana, arrows made out of flowers. Now, there is another Devata who is very popular for holding arrows of flowers, and that is called Kamadeva. Kamadeva holds and Chapa. Chapa is the bow, and the bow is made out of sugarcane. The bow is made out of sugarcane. Now, let us understand this. What are the four things that she is holding in these four hands? What is Pasha? Pasha is that which ties you, right? Why should she tie you down? Why should she want to tie you down? She ties you when you move in the wrong direction. When you are moving in the right direction, she does not need to tie you. When do you tie the goat or the donkey or the horse or the elephant? When it is going to start moving all over the place on its own. So here the Pasha signifies that she is ready to tie you down, provided you are ready to surrender and say, okay, I don't have any desire to go here and there. I am ready to be tied down. To where? To your hands. Tied down by your hands, through your hands, by you, using your own weapon. I am ready to be tied down. So this is a clear surrender of ego. The second part is Ankusha. Ankusha is a directional tool. It gives direction. It tells where to go. It is guiding. So she also holds the power to not only tie you down in the right direction, keep you in the right place, bring stillness in you, but when you move according to her direction. So Pasha stills the mind. Ankusha gives the direction. And then now comes the Pushpabana. Pushpabana were the 5 arrows that were held by Kamadeva. Mango flowers, lotus flowers, and so similarly there were jasmine flowers. All these flowers, they indicated various aspects of human desire. From lust to material, all the material things that we desire, they came from Kamadeva, right? The desire for those material things come from the 5 arrows that are held by Kamadeva. Now she is holding the 5 arrows in her hand. She is holding the sugarcane bow also in her hand. Now the bow signifies a balance, because the bow has to be very tightly tied. But if you tie it loosely, you cannot shoot the arrow. If you tie it too tight, the bow will break. So bow signifies balance. Balance between what? Bhukti, enjoyment, and mukti. So you do not need to be, and in all Devi worshippers, predominantly do not typically get out and say, I am a sannyasi, I want to get away from this world, I have to do only upasana. They try to find that in this entire prapancham, the word means that which has been created out of the 5 elements, prapancham, which means this universe. In this universe, while remaining in the universe, you are above it. For that to be above, you need to have a lot of balance. Swami Vivekananda used to say that it is very easy for for the sannyasi to say, look down upon the grihastha and say, oh, he is entangled in the world. But a grihastha who has managed to find sannyasa while being in grihastha is greater than any sannyasi. This is Sri Swami Vivekananda himself in one of his works. That she gives us. She gives us that balance. So while all the material benefits are being held by her and they are under her control, when we receive those material benefits, we receive them as her prasad and not something, oh, I have done it. That is a very interesting story. There was a sorry. There was a man in a very large town, and he had a very beautiful garden. And people from all over the city used to come and just to see that garden from outside. He was very possessive about that garden. The garden was laid out in exquisite form. He had also named that garden as Nandanvan, garden of pleasure. And Nandanvan exists in in Indra's Swarga. So this Nandanvan he has created, and people used to come and ask him, what are these flowers, what are these trees, exotic things he had got over there. One day a cow came inside, a bull came inside, and you know, we have let go the bull now after he has finished his job and he becomes old. He's roaming around on the streets, and he ambled into this garden and he started eating up all the flowers. This man got angry, took out a large stick, and he beat this bull so badly that the bull died. Now, when the bull died, people in the entire village and in the entire town accumulated over there, and they said, you have done Gohatya, now you have to do Prayashchitta. So he said, Gohatya? I did not do any Gohatya. These hands did the Gohatya. Hands are being ruled by Indra. So in the Rudram, when we do the Nyasa, we say that Indra is situated in the hands. Balagam Indrostataha. So we say that Indra is situated in the hands. So Indra is at fault. I am not at fault. So now people did not have an argument against that because he's quoting Shastra. So they removed the dead body, they cremated it, and this man recreated the entire garden. One day, another visitor came, he was standing over there and he said, wow, what a beautiful garden. Who is your Mali? So he says, I did it. So how did you do it? By my own hands. Now he kept repeating this. Then this man took the form of Indra and said, when it came to killing the cow, it was Indra. But when it came to growing the roses and the marigolds, you said, I did it. When we have received the benefits from her, we need to know that all of them come from her alone. Our efforts are only being directed by her. Even our efforts is her. So that is why her form, Pasha, Ankusha, in the lower two hands, she is holding the Pushpabanam and the sugarcane bow, Chapam. Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim Dhrita Pushpa Bana Chapam. Now, he further describes Animadi Bhiravritam Mayukhehi. Mayukha means the radiance of the sun, rays of the sun. Now, when she is sitting there, the rays of her rays, you cannot see the rays, right? You cannot see the rays unless when sunlight comes into our house, if there is dust or something, then you can see the small particles of dust and you feel the rays, they can see the rays. Actually, you cannot see the rays. So the rays, how do we see the rays here? Here we see them by the Ashta Siddhis surrounding her. Anima, Laghima, Garima, Mahima. These are 4. Prakamya, Vashinya, Ishitva, and I've forgotten the 8th. So these are the 8 siddhis that surround her. Now these are the 8 Mahasiddhis. In yogic tradition, these are powers that are arrived at by yogic practices. Even those great powers are only servants of hers. They are rays coming from her. They have been empowered by her alone. Anima, the word anu means atom. The power of anima is the power of becoming very small. We have seen that power in Shri Hanuman. He became very small when he was sitting on the tree and watching Ravan coming and giving warnings to Sita. Anima. Anima means to become like an Anu, right? Then Mahima, to become Mahan. To become Mahan. So it comes from Mahan. So Mahima, to become great, to become large. Again, Sri Hanuman has displayed that, right? He became huge when he wanted to jump over the sea. So in Hanuman Chalisa, what do we say? Ashtasiddhi Navanidhi ke data asavaradina Janaki Mata. Ashtasiddhi, he owns the Ashtasiddhi in Hanuman, right? Similarly here, that Ashtasiddhi has come to him only from the powers that were given to those Siddhis from Devi herself. Garima, the word Garima comes from Guru. Guru means not the teacher Guru, it means to be heavy, to become heavy. So the power to become heavy. Laghima, Laghima means to become Laghu, to become small, to become light and to float in the air, right? Ishitva, to be lordship over others. Prakamya, to get whatever I want to desire. So these are all powers that have been described in the yogic tradition. These yogic tradition powers, they get the ability to empower somebody also only from her. They are only like the rays that come from the sun. The ray by itself has no existence. If the sun is not there, can the rays be there? So that is how he is describing. Animadi bhiravritam mayukhehi ahamityeva vibhavaye bhavanim. This is a very simple line. In this form alone, oh Bhavani, I want to think of you. I want to imagine you. I want to continuously pray to you. Aham iti eva. Ahamityeva. Aham, I, iti, this, in this, eva, certainly, indeed. Vibhavaye Bhavanim. Vibhavaye, I want to imagine you, to be able to think of you. Bhavanim. What does Bhavani mean? She who is the ruler of this Bhava. Bhava is this entire universe. So Shiva has one of the names is Bhava. So from there also another meaning comes, the wife of Shiva, Bhavani, right? So there are words which can have multiple meanings. So again, let us recite. Arunam karunatarangitaakshim dhritapashankusha pushpabana chapam animadibhiravritam mayukhehi ahamityeva vibhavaye bhavanim. We will start from the beginning, the first dhyana shloka. Sinduraruna vigraham trinayanam manikya mauli sfurat taranayaka shekharam smitamukhim apinavakshoruham panibhyamali ratna chashakam raktotpalam bibhratim saumyam ratna ghatasta rakta charanam dhyayet paramambikam arunam karunatarangitaakshim धृतपाशाङ्कुशपुष्पबाणचापाम् अणिमादिभिरावृतां मयूखैः अहमित्येव विभावये भवानीं. श्रीमात्रे नमः. Any questions, any doubts, any thoughts?
Is there a particular what you call rhythm in which you chant it? Like now, when you chanted this Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim, is it like that or?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So there is a rhythm to the whole
Correct.
chanting of the shloka.
Correct. So that is why we say it is like a garland. Lalita Tripura Sundari Mala Stotram, right? That is what we say. Stotramala Mahamantrasya. So like a garland. So if it's like a garland, it must flow. So therefore, you don't stop in between. So a lot of chanting, when you are doing it for the first time, you may break up the words, which is okay. But later on, when you keep hearing and you get into the rhythm of reciting it in that particular chanda. So which is why when you do the sankalpa also, that also has a particular rhythm. Asya Shri Lalita Sahasranama Stotramala Mahamantrasya. It goes Mahamantrasya Vashinyadi Vagdevata Rishayah Anushtup Chandaha Sri Lalita Mahatripura Sundari Devata Aim Bijam Soh Shaktihi Klim Kilakam Shri Lalita Mahatripura Sundari Prasada Siddhyarthe Jape Viniyogaha Dhyanam. So even the dhyanam, it is said in that particular. So when we say, for example, in the Vedas also, we start with what when we do our classes also, we start with Hari Om, right? But it is not Hari Om. Hari Hi Om, Hari Hi Om, right? So Hari Hi Om, Hari Hi Om. So always with that sound is very important. Sound, see, when this creation happened, from nothingness, the first thing that got created was space. What is the element that defines space? It is called Nada. Nada. That is called the cosmic sound. The cosmic sound, we represent that cosmic sound with Aum. Then that sound, when it percolates even further, in the deepest meditation, the rishis heard that sound. They only heard sound. They did not hear words, right? They heard sound. So only three sounds. Uma, right? Like that. Madhyam, Uppar, Niche. Like only three sounds. Then when they heard this pattern, they said, okay, this Pa will go here, Sa will go here. It sounds right. This Sa will sounds right here. So when they started putting the letters, some things came out. The Vedas are not written in Sanskrit. We have to remember that. Mahaperiva very clearly, in one of his discourses, very clearly described this. He says that Vedas are written in what is called Vaidika Bhasha. Sanskrit is very similar to Vaidika Bhasha. So authors like Panini and even before that took the Vaidika Bhasha and they cast it into certain rules to create certain certain language. Sanskrita, that which has been created. Sanskrita is a created language. It is not a natural language. The natural language is Vaidika Bhasha. Vaidika Bhasha has words which do not have meaning in Sanskrit. Drape, andastat pade, daridran nila lohita, drape. Right? Nobody has been able to explain what does that word drape mean in Rudram. Right? Where did the drape come from? What does it mean? So people have gone crazy trying to extrapolate some meaning into it. But directly in Sanskrit, if you open any of the Amarakoshas or whatever in the book, you will not find any explanation for this particular letter or this particular set of words, set of letters, this word. So, but in all of these, the sound of the words, therefore, is very extremely important. So the first is Vaidika Bhasha, then there is Sanskrita Bhasha, and then there is called the Pauranika Bhasha, and then there is the Kavya Bhasha. Last comes Kavya Bhasha. Kavya Bhasha means Kalidas has used. There will be Chanda and so on and so forth. We are specifically using Pauranika Bhasha. But the root of all of this, where is it? Where is it? It is in Vedas. The root of Vedas is where? In Nada. What is the root of Nada? Sound. Unqualified sound. Cosmic sound. So the vibration of that sound created air. Air created feeling. The vibration of feeling created fire. The heat from the fire created water. From water came taste. The vibration of taste created earth. Earth created smell. So space is the first creation from which it is associated is Nada, or rather, we look at it from this way. Nada created the space. From space was born the feeling of touch, the touch. From that touch came the Vayu. So on and so forth. This is why it is called Prapancha. Prapancha. Bhagavan Shankaracharya has written very deeply on this, how the Prapancha came into being and so on and so forth. We need not need to get there. But essentially, the sound, the rhythm of whatever we recite is extremely important. So even when you see, when I'm doing the corrections, I keep insisting on the specific words, specific letters, because also the other thing is, yesterday, I don't know if you have noticed, there was a question, what is the meaning of dhavala as compared to dhavala? Now, dhavala means the color white, whereas dhavala, one of the meanings of dhavala is white pepper, right? It can also mean mountain. There are so many other meanings. So we have to be very clear with those small pronunciation mistakes that we tend to make. In when you do corporate training, especially in communications, it is called MTI, mother tongue influence. So we have to be very careful of our mother tongue influence, and this is true for most people. I was doing a Gita recitation. I was one of the panels who were judging online, and the moment he says Shri Bhagavan Uvacha, I know he's come from Kerala. So only there they will say Bhagavan. So poor Bhagavan becomes Bhagavan. Now that is mother tongue influence. No, nothing wrong with that. But the problem with that is that when you're doing it in Sanskrit, then meanings can change. So hence we have to follow the specific chanda. So that is why we said, na, Anushtup Chandaha, right? So again, let us close today by a quick re-recitation of the from the Sankalpa. Asya Shri Lalita Sahasranama Stotramala Mahamantrasya Vashinyadi Vag Rishayah Anushtup Chandaha Shri Lalita Mahatripura Sundari Devata Aim Bijam Sauh Shaktihi Klim Kilakam Shri Lalita Mahatripura Sundari Prasada Siddhyarthe Jape Viniyogah Dhyanam Sinduraruna Vigraham Trinayanam Manikya Mauli Sfurat Tara Nayaka Shekharam Smitamukhim Mapi Navakshoruham Panibhyam Alipurna Ratna Chashakam Raktotpalam Vibhratim Saumyam Ratna Ghatastarakta Charanam Dhyayet Paramambikam Arunam Karuna Tarangitakshim Dhritapashankusha Pushpa Bana Chapam Animadibhiravritam Mayukhaihi Ahamityeva Vibhavaye Bhavani. Shri Matre Namaha. Let us end for today. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.